What are your crimes, Mark? Yes, what are your crimes, Mark? Did you beat your wife? Did you kick a pup? Well, find your crimes or make it up. Did you laugh at Hubbard? That's not nice, and now you'll have to pay your price. So what are your crimes, Mark? What have you done? Oh, it's too late now. Fair game's begun.
Good evening, and coming back here at Xenu TV, we are broadcasting across this sector of the galaxy and right here on our beloved Tigiak. I hope you're here and you're going to enjoy this show. I had fun putting it together. It took me a little extra time to get this put together, but I think it'll be an interesting look at the creation of this video. I'm assuming most of you have seen this already, although I don't see anybody in the chat at this point. Oh, there we go. We got somebody here. Good SP, nice to see you. Hello. Let me just pop this up here. Hello, Mr. Bunker. I always love your videos. Well, thank you. And I love you, whoever you are. I appreciate that. Kelly's here. Hi, Kelly. And JB808. Hey, Mark. Love seeing the live notification from you. Well, I got to do this more. I'm going to try to do this every day if possible. Lauren is here. Hi, Lauren. Thank you. Susan. I really appreciate you dropping by. This is, I hope, going to be a fun show. I've got some maybe surprises in store, and we can have a little interactive situation here. I think it could be an interesting experiment as I do these live shows. Steph, hi, Steph. Steph, the writer, is here. And I appreciate you coming by and being excited. Thank you. So I'm assuming that most of you have already seen the video that I'm going to be talking about tonight, the spoof of the Scientology ad. Good SP says, the Mad Picket is my all-time favorite of yours. That's understandable. It's a fascinating thing. It's going to be coming out in 4K. I've been upscaling a lot of stuff that I haven't published yet. And that's one that I've been working on, but we'll get to it. You'll be seeing that and all the old footage brought back to life. And one thing that I've been doing too, and I haven't been doing it on the old Xenu TV footage yet, but for something like that, I'm considering doing it. I have been experimenting with 60 frames per second video. So 4K, 60 frames per second, you feel like you're right there. I mean, if the footage is good. Like I took one of my favorite movies of all time, Singing in the Rain, and I converted that to 4K, 60 frames per second. And it's like you're on the set with Gene Kelly, Debbie Reynolds, and Donald O'Connor. And it is such a delight. If you do that for modern films or dramatic films, it can ruin them completely. I saw somebody had done an upscale of the first Star Wars film, and you could tell you're on a soundstage, and all the costumes look plasticky and fake, and the actors, it ruined completely the film. But then I thought, well, what's a film I would like to be on the soundstage for? And it turns out the old MGM musicals are. So I've been in my spare time on a second computer converting and upscaling some of those to a 4K, 50 frames per second. And it is a lot of fun. But I'm digressing, just kind of filling some time here as more of you come in. Susan, you're going to be crocheting as you watch? Very good. So I used to do that with the news when I was watching news. The last couple of months, I haven't been watching much news. Not crocheting, but I would play solitaire to make the time go like that during a newscast. Now, I don't want to know what's going on. Well, and that's all I'll go into it. Hey, we got a new member, JB808. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. We had a lot of folks sign up last night during my tribute to Mike Rinder, and I'm so glad that that video got more views than pretty much anything else that I've been posting. So there was a lot of folks all around the world who were interested in talking about Mike and hearing stories about Mike. And it was certainly cathartic for me and exhausting. By the end of that show, I think my tear ducts, of course, were the first to get tired. But you know, I've been getting a lot of good feedback from it, and I really enjoy doing that. Let's see, just taking a look here. 5 a.m. in the UK. AT Chick. I wish I was there. Man, I love the UK. I was looking at some video just the other day from my trip to London back in 2008 with Magooski, Tori Crispin. The two of us were invited over by Anonymous and attended a protest there and spent a week in London, which is my favorite place on the planet. Ever since I was a little kid, I was carting around the complete Sherlock Holmes edition, big, thick book. I would take that to school every day. And I know in junior high, I was carrying that with me everywhere, and read through all of the original Holmes stories then. So, and of course, loved Basil Rathbone and Nigel Bruce, who were the actors to play the parts when I was a kid. And I know there are a lot of folks who say, well, you know, Dr. Watson is supposed to be smarter than Nigel Bruce was, but Nigel Bruce is delightful. And I was actually cast as Dr. Watson at the Universal Studios tour decades ago, when they were just opening up some fake areas. You know, like now, if you go to Universal in Florida and in LA, I guess I haven't been there in so long, but they had the Harry Potter wizardy world there, so you can walk through the streets. Well, they had a London section there, and they wanted Sherlock Holmes and Watson to be strolling around there solving crimes. And I auditioned for that and was cast, and then they didn't use us. But that was fun. I did spend a year, though, as a tour guide there. And before leaving there, I did also audition as Oliver Hardy, because they had Laurel and Hardy on the lot there. I did not get that. But by then, I had been a union shop steward for the tour guides, and I don't think they were happy about that. So they weren't interested in keeping me around after that. And I went over to Paramount Studios and had a terrific year there. Or was it longer? I mean, it could have been 2 years. And Universal Studios was the studios of my childhood, because I grew up watching all of the Universal horror movies with Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi. I would stay up late at night watching Nightmare Theater with Dr. Cadaverino and Igor out of Milwaukee. They had a late night show Saturdays at midnight where they'd play old movies, and so they had all the classic Universal films, Frankenstein, Dracula, The Werewolf, all of those. And then they also had a lot of crap that would fill up the schedule. And I think that may have been the first place where I saw the film The Incredibly Strange Creatures Who Stopped Living and Turned into Mixed Up Zombies. You don't need to see that one, but it's got such a great title that how can you pass it up if it's on? So anyway, there was a guy in Milwaukee who was Dr. Cadaverino, and Jack DeBlon was his name. And I know this is all fast. This is exactly why you came here, I know. But Jack DeBlon was an all-around entertainer at the time when local TV stations allowed you to do things. Like on national TV, you had Captain Kangaroo, which I grew up with. Locally, we had a guy playing cartoons on our local channel who was Colonel Caboose. He dressed up like a train engineer, and that was his shtick. And then, just introduced all the cartoons. Well, Jack DeBlon in Milwaukee was an institution for decades, and he was Doc Cadaverino, which was the way I was introduced to him and fell in love with him and his wacky nonsense between movie breaks. And he had a headless assistant named Igor. And my friend Irv Portman, and we were kids at this time, Irv Portman and I created the Igor National Fan Club, and Irv had somebody in the family who had a printing shop. So we got stationery made up and membership cards, and I was writing into Doc Cadaverino all the time, and he would be reading my letters in the mail, and I would send him packages of just crap. So he would open those up live on the air and insult me, and it was great fun. He also was the part of the weather team on this channel, and he was Albert the Alley Cat. He had a little puppet that was on the newscasts in the morning, and I think it was morning and afternoon. I don't know if he ever did evenings, but there were a lot of folks who said, eventually, after a couple of decades of this, it's a little unprofessional. We should be serious here. And I think Albert got edged out before Doc Cadaverino was, but that's a shame because I miss all of those folks. And thank you for everyone who's rolling in as I'm babbling along here. And I forgot why I even got into any of that, except Universal Studios horror films. When I was on the lot there, as a tour guide, I never tired of taking the tram through the back lot and talking about all the films that were shot there. So in the 30s, all the horror films, they went into the 40s and got a little worse. But also at Universal, that was Abbott and Costello, who I grew up on. Didn't love them as much as Laurel and Hardy, but certainly I was a big fan and watched their films over and over and over and over. They were shot there. W.C. Fields shot a bunch of films there, including My Little Chickadee, You Can't Cheat an Honest Man. A lot of the really good early films were shot there. So it was always fun for me. And then when I moved over to Paramount, well, that Paramount was the studio that I associated with my teen years because it was Hope and Crosby, who I loved all the road films. So they were a great studio for comedy. And then, of course, Star Trek, Mission Impossible. Those things were shot on the Paramount lot when it wasn't Paramount. About a quarter of the Paramount lot, one side of the lot had been Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz's studio. And Lucy produced Star Trek and Mission Impossible. And then Paramount bought it and tore down the wall between them. And so we would go through the sound stages where those things were made, or Citizen Kane was made on that lot, for God's sakes. That was RKO before Lucille Ball bought it. And not a lot of people made this part of the tour, but I did once or twice. There was an office building. On the second floor was a little screening room. And that was where Orson Welles shot the opening of Citizen Kane. If you've ever seen the film, it's a darkened movie theater, and you're seeing folks in the light from the projector as they're talking about Kane. And he shot that up there without the studio realizing that he was actually shooting film for the movie itself. He said, you know, I need to do some costume tests here, and we're going to shoot this up here. And he just went ahead and shot that for the movie. And, you know, it's one of the reasons I loved Orson Welles. But there were plenty. But, you know, I think you've had, I've given you enough time for a lot of people to gather here. And I appreciate every, now it's Witness, right? Witness. I got to get this down. Soundstage 42. Yeah. Yeah. And all the Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers musicals there as well. So it was absolutely wonderful being on these lots as a movie buff, and as an actor too. I was doing a lot of voiceover, a lot of industrials and stage work and stuff like that. And when I was being hired, they said, "Mark, you can't pester the casting people. That's part, you know, you've got to let that be." And stupidly, I said, okay. But I did get to know some of the folks on Star Trek: The Next Generation, which was shooting at the same time. And one of the people that I got to know was Rick Berman, who was the executive producer of Next Generation and then Deep Space Nine and all of the Star Trek periods, New Trek of that period. And he asked me what, I got him some Disney films on tape before they were legally out. And he said, "What can I do for you?" And I said, "Well, you know, I'd like to read for the show at some point." And so he had me meet with Junie Lowry, who is the casting director for Star Trek. And I'm sure that Junie was going, "Oh God, I got to see this guy for the producer. All right, let's bring him in." And they gave me a script, a couple of pages of a script called Sides in the Business, if you must know. So they gave me some sides of this alien who gets beamed onto the ship, and he's I saw that. I don't know how to describe the episode anymore because it was so long ago. It was, I think, second season. But it was somebody who beamed onto the bridge somehow and was curious about all the humanoid creatures that were around him. And he wasn't talking to them, but he was going, exoskeletal thing, this, that, and the other thing. All the tech babble that Trek loved to do. And I read that, and I think that was to get rid of me. But she went, "Oh, okay, wait a minute." And she brought in another side for me for a movie. They were going to bring me in to read for the director of, it turns out it was Hand That Rocks the Cradle. And she said, "I'll be calling you in the next week." And never got a call. And because I had promised the folks who hired me that I won't be bothering the casting directors, I stupidly didn't say, "Hey, remember me? Anything happening with that?" So if I had done that right now, I would be a multi-billionaire movie star in a mansion instead of sitting here with my two cats who I love. They're great cats. I would still find a way to keep the cats with me if I was a billionaire, okay? If I had to go through some sort of time lab or some time warp, travel to this other dimension, I'd make sure I grab them and take them with me. Anyway. Hey, is there anything? Oh my God, I've been babbling like this for 19 minutes now. I apologize without apologizing because I'm having fun. I hope you are too. So I want to do streams just about movies and TV shows as well. And I've got a second channel. Maybe I'll just move everything over there for that because I don't know if you're interested in doing this. But for Kelly and Steph, if there's anything that there you go, Susan Good Grandma, become a YouTube member. God bless you. I appreciate that. And I was looking at, somebody asked me today, hey, can I get one of those gift subscriptions that folks were giving out yesterday? And I thought, I don't know how that's done. So I looked it up today, and I guess it's all algorithm that YouTube takes care of. So I have no role in it, but I really appreciate you folks who are buying up the gift donations, because there are people out there who would like them, and certainly that income helps me keep rolling here. One of the things that I want to do, and I haven't run this by Paulette Cooper yet, but a couple of nights ago I was thinking, I'm using this program that we're going to be talking about that I used for this Scientology spoof ad. I used this program that takes my voice and changes it into other voices. And you can clone a voice. So I could clone my own voice, or if you have recordings of somebody, you can clone their voice. And it dawned on me that for years I've been trying to do my own personal audio book reading of Paulette Cooper's book, for example. And I never felt that I was, doing a great job with it. But I thought, hey, I've got a 2-hour interview with Paulette Cooper. I can take a soundbite from her, upload it, and I can have her read her book. So I have to contact her and see if that's something she wants to have done, or if her publisher would allow it. I don't know how involved the publisher is in the copyrights for the book, because it's been online as a text document for decades. But I think that would be fun to have Paulette reading her own book. And we could do that for a lot of stuff. And I was looking at, I thought, what I'm going to do? I'm going to go onto this website I use, and I'm just going to create it tonight and send it to Paulette and surprise her. And then I realized, I have the ability to make a half an hour of sound a month on my subscription. And I would have to pay a lot more money to be able to actually do a longer book. But not impossible. And the fact that you folks are doing super chats and getting those subscriptions, that's going to mean that I'll have some extra cash to be doing stuff like that. So I'll try to make great use of whatever you decide to donate. It's a huge help. So maybe we should get to the topic at hand. Witness. Thank you. I do think it would be amazing, and I don't think she'd be opposed to it. I would create it and let her listen to it, and if it's not up to what it needs to be, we could try again, or just say, "Oh, it's a nice experiment." All right. If I've been missing any of the comments that have been posted, I apologize. If there's anything else that my mods think I should be talking about before we get into this, here we go. Oh, well, how do you know about the Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade poster? I don't know how you pronounce that name. Jicarijo? No, I don't have that, unfortunately. I had a poster. My old place back in LA was, all the walls were covered with framed movie posters, and I had a couple that were autographed. I had one from Sean Connery, who autographed the Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade one for me. And, that was a proud possession. And I had another one that William Shatner autographed for the abysmal Star Trek V. I wasn't crazy about the film, but I like Star Trek, and I like Mr. Shatner, no matter that he was, not an easy guy to love rather. I used to bump into him from time to time on the Paramount lot. And at some point, okay, I'm just going to tell you the story. I don't know if this is a good story to tell or not, but I always love telling it. And people seem to like it when I tell it. So if you remember, I think it was 1980 at the Democratic National Convention. Anyone who was alive at that time, if you remember this, I think this is probably something that's been long forgotten. But there was a scandal where Rob Lowe and a pal were picking up women at the Democratic Convention and videotaping themselves having relationships with them at the same time. And it became real big news when this broke, because one of the girls in the tape was underage. And they had beamed a copy of that to Entertainment Tonight. Is that still on the air? I don't want to get anyone in trouble. Anyone who was there at the time, I'm sure is no longer there. Mary Hart's not there. I know that. But they got a copy of the tape without the underage girl. And somebody I knew on the lot had a copy of it and gave me a copy of it. And then I used it as a bartering chip to get a few things. Not too many on the lot, but I did want to get a copy of the poster for Star Trek V. William Shatner's office was just right down the little walkway there. I thought, what I'll do? I'll just go over to his office and talk to his secretary and see if there's anything I can do to get one. So I'm at the door to William Shatner's office, and I open it up. And I used to go in and talk to a lot of folks that I really admired, like Nicholas Meyer had an office on the Paramount lot at that time. And he had done Star Trek II, Wrath of Khan. And then and this was before he did Star Trek IV. He co-wrote Star Trek IV, and then wrote and directed Star Trek VI. But this was while they were making, right after they had made Star Trek III, which destroyed a lot of the stuff that he set up in Star Trek II. They say, oh, Kirk's got a son. Well, in the next film, Kirk's dead. Wrath of Khan, Spock dies. The next film, he's alive again. Now, I know that impressed a lot of fans, but I think Star Trek III was a little clumsy in its execution. And Nicholas Meyer knew what he was doing, even though he was not a Star Trek fan. Anyway, so I also met Gene Roddenberry, who had office right across the little road from where I was. And I remember going into his office and seeing DC, it wasn't DC Fontana. But it was, I can't think of her name right now. People who are Star Trek fans know who this was, but it's a woman who was with Gene Roddenberry for decades. I don't know if it was Bijo Trimble, could have been. Anyway, she's got an office. She's got her receptionist's office, and then I could see, oh, there's Gene Roddenberry right in there. First time I went over, I was, talking to her, and I looked over and I saw Gene. I went, oh, and the door slammed shut on me. I thought, well, that's wonderful. He had a little button. That's one of the executive perks that I found out about. So a little button under the desk, and if you want it, you can close the door. So he slammed the door on me the first time, but we talked after that. So that's what I expected when I went to William Shatner's office. I thought, I'm going to open up the door, talk to his receptionist. I open up the door, and there's William Shatner sitting right there, right by the door. And he's got his glasses on. He's got a script. He looks up and goes, "What do you want?" And I said, "Well, I'm sorry. I was going to talk to your secretary." "Well, you're here. You must want something. What do you want?" And I said, "Well," and he was sitting out there because there was a crew setting up cameras and lights in his office. So he was sitting out in the receptionist area. And then I said, "Well, I was hoping to trade this tape for a poster." What tape?" I said, "The Rob Lowe tape." And he sat up and went, "You've got the Rob Lowe tape? This is the Rob Lowe tape?" I said, "Yeah, you got your poster." And he told me to come back later and get the poster. And I came back, and he hadn't signed it. And at that point, I asked the reception, "Any chance he could sign it?" But I almost forgot one of the most important details, before he told me to come back. I said, "Yeah, this is Rob Lowe tape." He grabs the tape. He comes running into his inner office, and I, follow along with him. He puts it in his VCR, and he's sitting there at his desk with like 3 remotes. "I can't get the tape to work." And so I walked over to the VCR and I pushed play, and then we watched a little bit of it. And he said, "You've got your poster." That's when I left. Anyway, I got a signed poster from him. And I got that story that I've been telling for decades, just never online before. So, Mr. Shatner, if you want, I just make the whole thing up. He didn't want to see the Rob Lowe tape. It's fake news. But I had the poster. So I don't think I was dreaming it. Anyway. Thank you. Gico Richo. There you go. And what happened with the posters is, when I was moving to Clearwater for the first time, I had shipped a lot of stuff, and I thought, and then I just took a little trailer attached to my car with some of the more important things, computers, stuff like that. And when it came time to pack that thing, I didn't have room for the posters. And so, okay, I'm just going to leave them. I got to get out of here. But my car and this thing was packed to the gills. So somebody on the street there were able to pick up some wonderful signed posters. No, it wasn't Major Barrett Roddenberry. It was somebody who worked with him behind the scenes. That's why I'm thinking it might be B. Joe Trimble. But I won't know that until I do a little research. Anyway, hey, you want to talk about the Scientology ad? Because we're half an hour into this already. The one thing that I said, hey, let's talk about this tonight. So let's get to it. Unless everybody, if you have other questions that I haven't addressed yet, I'm happy to do that. Have you all had a chance to watch the Scientology spoof ad that I made? I'm assuming you have, but if not, it wouldn't hurt to play it again. It's only 5.5 minutes long. Kelly's reminding people, hey, become a member if you can. It's a huge help. Tell your friends. What is it? Like, share, and subscribe. Okay, I'm trying to learn all this stuff. So why don't we take a look at it? This was something that I've been thinking about variations of this for some time, and there's some others that have been in the back of my head thinking, I'm going to do this. But then when I saw this Talking Heads one, I thought, whoa, this is perfect, because just like a couple of days before I saw that ad, the service that I use to create AI video had just done an upgrade. Their 1.0 version sucked. 1.5 was, a lot better. It's what I used to do Xenu's Playhouse. Thank you. And it did a nice job. There's a lot of flaws in it, but it's got its unique charm. And $5? Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I'll send you a copy of the Rob Lowe tape. Like I have one. So they had just announced that they upgraded from 1.5 to 1.6, and I tried it, and it was astonishing. I did a little lip sync test, and it was remarkable. And then I saw, the Scientology ad of our voices. And the annoying thing is, it's a good ad. I really loved it more when Hubbard was around, and everything they put out was crap. I mean, laughable stuff. Like, Can We Ever Be Friends? That audio tape, that cassette that you're supposed to send around to family members who are concerned that you've joined Scientology, and you've got this thing, you've got this guy, and I forget his name now, but I'm sure there are a lot of folks here who know who he is and what his name is, but it's all about the evil people and this and that. And if I'd heard that as a parent, I would have been even more concerned. So I appreciated the old stuff that they put out. But they have, through the years, been getting better at producing promotional material. Still doesn't tell you anything. All of it is just, this is a wonderful thing to be part of. Oh, and this newest one where you've got all the people saying, I'm one. They don't believe me. With the end being, we're Scientologists. It's a pretty good ad. And I thought, it doesn't tell you anything about Scientology. It doesn't give you any information at all. Just that these are relatively normal looking people and they're Scientologists. So they're not too scary. Well, no, they're not scary. They're not. But it's scary that, they're part of something that has done so many destructive things and it's so deceptive. So I thought it would be best to do a version of that with the truth in it. And I could have, more easily than what I did, just taken a screenshot and cloned their voices and made them say these things. And I would never do that. I mean, I would never put words into somebody else's mouth like that. But I wanted to give a sense of the Scientology ad. So I had to put new faces onto these people. And I have 3 models from the site I used to do still images. And this is great. I don't have it up here. But the, yes, wait a minute, I do. Boom, right there. I don't know, you can't see it yet, but it is Replicate, which uses the flux model. There we go. I want to see me again. Uses the flux model for creating images, and it's remarkable what it can do. And so I took a still of all the people who were in that video and then went to Replicate, where I have models of me, Tori, and Slappy Miscavige. And I had the 3 of us play all the parts in the video. And we'll go into how that was all done in more detail after we watch this. But for right now, why don't we take a look at it, shall we? All right, kids, I'll just be like one of those TV hosts. All right, settle back. It's time to watch your favorites telling the truth about Scientology.
In my day-to-day life, when people find out, people are like, wait, what? You're what?
When they find out, they're usually very surprised.
They go silent and then start slowly backing out of the room.
I hate it when they point and giggle. Wow. Come on, guys.
Really? It's just Scientology.
You know, Scientology, the world's fastest-growing religion.
Wait, what's so funny about that?
Everybody I know is a Scientologist. Everybody at work. Everybody in my family. Well, that I still talk to.
I'm a Scientologist.
So am I.
10 years now.
46 years.
I have been my whole life, this life, and my past life.
I'm a past life clear.
6 lifetimes now.
42.
80.
120 lifetimes and counting.
1 billion years. And I still look good.
So, we've been around the galaxy a few times.
And that's nothing to laugh at.
So stop it.
I find people are just naturally curious about Scientology. I tell them, ask me anything.
Scientology is all about communication.
According to L. Ron Hubbard, communication is the universal solvent.
So, ask me anything.
Then they ask about Xenu.
We don't talk about Xenu.
We don't talk about Xenu.
And we don't talk about Xenu.
We don't talk about the intergalactic overlord who blew us up in a volcano 75 million years ago.
We don't talk about that.
Oh, right. Sorry. Forget I said that.
Listen, we can't talk about Xenu because, well, you're just not ready for it.
See, if you find out about it before you're ready, you could catch pneumonia and die.
That's why you need to get on the bridge to total freedom. Take some courses, pay enough money, and then we'll tell you about Xenu.
And oh, the journey you'll start.
You'll begin an uninformed member of the masses who has no idea how pathetic they are. Oh, it's going to take a while.
And you'll need to keep your checkbook handy.
But get on the bridge, and you are on your way to becoming a powerful being.
You'll look at every negative moment of your life and clear away all the pain and confusion that's been holding you back. Then, you've reached the state of clear, and we will all applaud you and give you a diploma.
Then it is on to clearing all your past lives.
I was a country doctor in Kentucky in the 1920s.
I was a respected member of the French aristocracy.
I was a knight of King Arthur's court and served with pride and distinction.
I was a clam on a beach, and a seagull picked me up and flew me away.
I was a majestic mariner sailing the 7 seas.
The seagull dropped me onto some rocks where I died, which is why I'm afraid of heights.
I was a samurai warrior protecting a village from marauders.
And if you take your finger and thumb and snap them together repeatedly, my jaw locks up.
I was Julius Caesar.
I was Julius Caesar.
And I was Julius Caesar.
I wish I had been Julius Caesar.
I once enslaved a planet. But don't mention that at the org.
I can control matter, energy, space, and time. The meshed universe.
Larry, give us a demonstration.
No.
Oh.
No.
Oh, but...
I don't want to show off.
Oh, but...
No.
I don't think he can do it.
What? Are you invalidating me?
No?
Susie, I'm writing a knowledge report on you.
What?
You're going to ethics.
What?
Ethics.
We're the most ethical people on the planet.
We get that from L. Ron Hubbard. He taught us to think for ourselves. and exactly what to think.
Which is why he would not be happy about another Scientologist being invalidated.
Isn't that right, Susie? Susie?
Susie?
Has anyone seen Susie?
She's not here.
Oh,
My God. Susie Blue!
quick. We've got to hunt her down.
I know where her parents live.
I know all the wogs she's been talking to.
We've got to bring her back, people.
Think for yourself. Leave Scientology.
What are your crimes, Mark? Yes, what are your crimes, Mark? Your crimes are hidden, they should be seen. Spin all out, Mark, and just come clean.
Well, there you have it. 5.5 minutes of sheer delight. Although somebody on YouTube said, it's too long. 2 minutes would have been enough. So I responded to him, okay, stop it at 2 minutes and then you'll love it. But there's, I tend to go overboard, and I want to squeeze in a whole bunch. There's a lot that I cut out, or didn't develop at all. You got Slappy playing that old wealthy woman in front of a mansion. I thought, well, how can I work the fact that she's a big donor into it, and maybe make a picture of her with a gigantic award from Slappy. And then, that's not part of this. But it was tons of fun. And I wanted to take a little look at the process and then do an interactive thing and see if we can all work together to create a little something. First off, let me, there are a couple other things here I wanted to play. Let me bring these up here. I did all of the voices. So everybody that you heard there is my performance. I just took my laptop and this microphone, and I just read the script through, and then I would go back and take out. You can only do 10 seconds of video at a time. So I would take enough dialogue to fill 10 seconds and go to this website. Let me see if I can. Do I have that one up here? I don't think I do. There's a website called 11 Labs where you can upload a piece of audio, and they have dozens and dozens of different voices you can choose from. So I would try to find a voice that would fit the character, and I would download a wonderful performance of what I had recorded in a completely different voice. Then I take that over to Kling AI. First process is creating a still image. And I do that over at Replica. Then you take that image over to Kling AI, and let me pull up Kling AI here. Let's see. I think I've got that. Oh, I did not assign that. Let's see if I share screen. Here we go. Kling AI. Go ahead. Okay, so I think you're seeing Kling AI right now. And this is one of the clips that I did. We've got a list here on the side of all the talking heads. The first thing I did when I started this, and let me scroll down here. So we've got a whole bunch of these clips for all the different lines of dialogue. Each of these clips takes 10 seconds, or I'm sorry, takes 12 minutes to record in a dialogue clip. A 10-second clip takes 12 minutes to generate. The first thing I did was create just a talking head. So over here in the prompt, you tell it what you want to have happen. I took a still that I had generated at Flux. I put it in here and typed, a woman talks to the camera remains stationary as she talks. So we would just have a silent clip of somebody talking. And I did that for each of the dozen or so characters. Here's one that did not make the cut. I had Tori play this woman with a blonde do. She may be talking now. Let me see. I think I added sound to all of these. Nope, not hearing her there. Let's try another clip. Let's go further up, because these are the silent ones, essentially. See if I can find her later. There we go. She should be talking here. Let's see if that comes through.
I'm a Scientologist. So am I. Me too. I have been my whole life. 10 years now. 34 years.
And see, because I don't want to waste all the time that it takes to do one of these, I wasn't sure who was going to be cast in each of those. Yeah, I'm a Scientologist, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. And there's a whole bunch of those that were in the original video. So I had everybody record one of those. Let's see if that's what we've got here.
I hate it when they point and giggle.
Oh, that's earlier.
Wow. Come on, guys. 10 years now.
Oh, there you go. So I knew he'd be 10 years. Let's come up here to Larry.
I find people are just naturally curious about Scientology. I tell them, ask me anything. So, ask me anything.
All right. So, well, we don't need to go searching for other 10 years, 20 years things. But I had a whole number of characters do those so that I had editing choices who would be best for it. And originally I had Tori's character say that she was a Scientologist. And I had her later in the script as well, but the performances weren't lip syncing properly for her. And when I watched it, and this was the only clip of her in the video at the end, I didn't think it was fair for her to be saying, "I'm a Scientologist," when it was clearly her. It was not disguising her as somebody else, which hopefully a lot of these other clips did. And sometimes you can't tell. Like, I don't think you normally look, come on, let me go up here. It's hard to navigate through these. Okay, here she is. No, let's go. What am I looking for? In her blue outfit here. Okay. So I also put her in here, and here you don't necessarily go, oh, that's Tori. And she's lovely here.
6 lifetimes now. 10, 42, 80, 120 lifetimes and counting.
All right. So, and I'm hoping, I'm hoping you're still hearing me and everything's rolling along here just fine. So there's one performance that I wanted to show you, and I'm going to come back and talk to you in person here for a moment. Can you? Okay, I think I'm on the screen now with this. So, are you seeing the screen and me? I'm assuming you are. There's I'm going to stop sharing this. There's a clip that I have here that shows you when I make a mistake, and yes, occasionally it happens, where I would put my original voiced clip onto one of the videos and it would come out like this. 6 lifetimes now. 10, 42, 80, 120 lifetimes and counting. Not as effective, but it's good to see, just the difference that a good voice makes on that. I have one other here. This is Tori's character. I had the same problem. We're the most ethical people on the planet, which is why he would not be happy about another Scientologist being invalidated. There you go. I fought hard to find a good voice for each and every character. That, like this clip of Slappy, I absolutely love. And you never know what the performance is how the performance is going to turn out. You have to wait 12 minutes to see if this is going to work at all. And with the exchange at the end where Susie's saying, "Give us a demonstration, Larry," and it's just a bunch of no, but. I wrote that hoping that it would cut together right. And then Susie wowed me. Susie deserves an Oscar. Her performance in this clip, out of context, AI doesn't know what the story is. They don't know how this is fitting together. But she brings this to life. Let's take a look at that.
Larry, give us a demonstration. But still, I don't think he can do it.
Now, I mean, it may not look like much there, but, if you really look at it and you look at it in the edited ad, there's real emotion behind each of those little O's. And there's she's got a little clutch in her throat on the final, when it's about, writing a knowledge report. So, I mean, this software, it just has astonished me. And then there are times when no, it doesn't really work at all. I'm not crazy about Larry's performance in this. He's just very wooden, and there's not a lot of life to his face. But I found a voice that made him at least sound pompous, and so that works. And another surprise that popped up here is how good Slappy Miscavige is at comedy. AI gave him this slack-jaw look that brought so much to his performance.
See, if you find out about it before you're ready, you could catch pneumonia and die. It's for your own safety.
Now, I didn't tell Kling AI, make sure his jaw drops open so he looks like a dope. But it works perfectly with that voice. And tons of fun. So I'm going to go back right now to the comments. I have not been able to see the comments while I'm playing this, in case there are other things that you folks wanted to talk about while I'm on this. Give Tori a mohawk. Well, speaking of which, I've got some other things I want to show you here. Don't defame people for their religious beliefs. I'm not defaming anybody. I'm having fun. Joking and degrading is a high crime in Scientology. And in the real world, it's an effective tool. Real people enjoy a sense of humor. Not that Scientologists aren't real people, but when it's beat into you that joking, degrading is a high crime, that's a problem. So, I think the best way to share information is lightly, and a sense of humor goes a long way to getting somebody to listen. That's been my belief all along. I'm going to pull this up from Swedish Lena because you're being very kind to me. Although they call me Wide Beard Man, I have gained back a little bit of weight, but please, Wide Beard Man, what are you being? Funny? Is that some smart ass comment? Don't defame the fat people. Sorry. You really created this ad with magic. Oh, thank you. I think I've watched it 6 times already. This has been so fascinating to watch. Love from Australia. Love you too, Swedish Lena. How'd you get from Sweden to Australia? I'd like to know. So let me show you some other things here. Debbie, it's called satire. With all the harm cults do, laughter is sacred. You're correct. And I'm not making fun of Scientologists. Well, Lord knows a lot of people do. You certainly have a lot of jokes at the expense of Travolta and Cruz, and Scientology is a big punchline for late night comics everywhere. You got John Oliver on Last Week Tonight with a costume Mickey Mouse coming out and saying, "Where's Shelley?" Humor is important. Susan, catch up with us tomorrow night. So let me show you the cast of characters here. I'm going to pull this up. And take a look at this process here. Let's see, how do I go through this? There we go. So I took a still from the actual ad and tried to recreate it as best as possible with a different face. And this one's Slappy. And this one is me. And I have found in the course of making this video that I'm a very pretty girl. I decided to do a sex switch of the characters because Tori was looking like too much of Tori when she was doing a woman, some of them at least. And then same with the guys. Clearly you could tell it was me. So I found that if I played some of the women, Tori played some guys, it kind of hid the obviousness of it and didn't take you out of the video. Next, this is me, and this is Tori. This is one of those ways you can say, "Oh yeah, okay, I didn't know that was Tori," but it is a nice human being, and I think actually a little more an interesting type of character than the actual person. Here I am as a pretty girl again, and here's Tori as a pretty girl. This one was obvious with the eyes. Okay, she has to be Tori, and I can't tell. I think that one might be me. Oh no, it's Tori because of the eyes. Yeah, the Tori's the giveaway. Tori again. And of course, Slappy. Slappy is not such a pretty girl. No matter how many times I tried, Slappy just did not look comfortable. Although he's lived many lifetimes as a woman before. So, I mean, that should be... Oh, here we go. Another Tori. I like this guy. When I was working at a radio station in Wisconsin, right out of college, there was an old guy who was a copywriter there for the radio station doing ads, and he worked overnights, and I worked early mornings. So I would see him when I'd come in the morning, and he was a great guy. He was a very low-key, laconic type of guy, but with a great sense of humor. And he always had this slow voice. I was doing a morning shift on this radio station, and we'd occasionally take some phone calls. It wasn't necessarily a phone-in show, although there was an element of it during 1 hour. And there was a caller who said his name was Herkimer Gridsmacher. And he used to call up quite a bit. And I just loved that name, Herkimer Gridsmacher. And I'm an old radio buff, so I started writing little sketches around Herkimer Gridsmacher. And since I wasn't going to bring Herkimer in to record these, I said it during the war years, World War II, and it was Ma and Pa Gridsmacher on the farm with their 30-some kids, but young Herc was off at war, so he never appeared. And actually, the only people who ever talked in these sketches were Ma and Pa Gridsmacher. And I was Ma, and he was Pa. And I just do like a 5-minute skit about something that was happening. I remember him coming in one of them going, "Make some room on the kitchen wall, Mommy. There's a new calendar from some sort of health thing." I haven't heard it in so long. But it was a whole bunch of pretty girls on the calendar that Ma Gridsmacher was getting upset about. And this clinic had each pretty girl with like her leg in a cast or some sort of bizarre illness that you would not see on a calendar. 3rd-degree burns, whatever. And I was thinking, hey, maybe I should animate some of those. But he was absolutely perfect as Pa Gridsmacher. Another diversion from what we were talking about. Here's Slappy. I think this is one of Slappy's best characters. I really like this guy, and I think the performance that this guy gave was actually terrific. Here he is. I don't know. This was one that did not turn out well in video. This was the most cartoonish of them all, but I have to say that Slappy, it's hard to turn him into anyone else. Here's me. I'm a pretty girl. It's a shame I don't have daughters running around the country. They I would have lovely grandchildren by now. Here I am again, pretty girl. Oh, got to go back. Boop, boop. And this is Tori. I think we discussed that already. This is me, and I wasn't going to use him. Unfortunately, I did use him, and there's one shot of him in there that I think is a little jarring. But this, there was several. I would always run off 4 images of each of the characters because there's always going to be some differences between all 4 of the images that are created. This one was the most pathetic, and I thought, great. This is a guy who was a clam on a beach. Oh, and here's, speaking of which, here you go. Here's Slappy as a pretty girl. I'm not buying it. And Tori as a pretty girl. I'm buying it. And Tori as this guy. So you see that sometimes there are errors that pop up. Tori's hair found its way into a few of these images. And there's Slappy. I turned him down. I said, sorry, you're out of here. I'm not using you. He said, I'm going to come back. I'm going to change my look a little. Now can I have the part? And I said, nope. Nope, get out of here. Get out of this casting office. I'm going to tell Junie Lowry never to have you read for her. Oop. Oh, there we go. There's another one of the unfortunate Tori moments. Okay, let's see what I skipped over here. Oh, okay. And here's Slappy. I think Tori wore it better. And I think that is. Oh, here's another Slappy. And this is me as Larry. No, I'm sorry. No. Oh, and this is me as I think an aging Sigourney Weaver who has been trapped on a spaceship with the alien for a few extra years. She's a little worn down, but I'm a pretty girl again, and he is not. There you go. So that is that. Let's get rid of that. Oop. And I thought what we do, and I'm going to cancel this for right now. Let's just go back to good old me. I hope you enjoyed that. I have not looked at any of the comments because I've been looking at the screen here doing all of this. What I was thinking might be fun. Well, yes, Gerald, it's reaching the point where it's impossible to detect it's fake. Yes, and that is troubling. And AI is going to destroy the world. But when I do it, it's fun. It is scary how you can trick people. Even before it got this good, people were easily falling for fake voices, and so we do have a bumpy road as a society moving forward, because this is just growing in leaps and bounds. But again, I'm having a great time, and I hope you enjoy, the creative uses in it. Isn't it ironic that the AI characters are more lifelike than the real-life Scientologist actors? Well, they're more fun. There's a, I think the people who are actually in that ad, they come off nicely. I was looking at some of the other ads, which I think are a little too complicated for me to complete right now, like one about kids. Where you got kids running around the room. It's very difficult to create a lot of action that really holds up with the characters moving from one scene to another. So this talking head thing was absolutely the best ideal thing. But there are some other ads, Super Bowl type ads that I think are in the pipeline for me. Hey, Mark, says Ed Osling. As a friend of Jeff Jacobson during our time together doing the Chinology thing, glad to see you're doing well. I'm still kicking. My voice is a little more ragged, but I'm still getting out there doing it, still interbulating. So it would be great doing Paulette's book. I was talking about this at the beginning. Susan, thank you. And I could do this with any of the anti-Scientology books if anyone was interested in it. But I just know that, I've got Paulette's voice handy. I can actually get it done. And I would like to see her book get another new life. We could be putting it out as a podcast, a chapter at a time. I will talk to her and see if she's at all interested. Alan's made a voice model of LRH. Yeah, that's the problem. What L. Ron Hubbard says in itself is pretty outrageous. And when we start making fake quotes of L. Ron Hubbard, then it makes it easier for the church to say, he never talked about Xenu. That's people are making that up. That's all AI. But you're right. It is, it is fun. But I think that is something that, I'm aware of. I'm trying not to do anything to deceive anyone. I'm just trying to do something to amuse and educate. So let me witness. It's nice to see Mark using it against the cult. In my opinion, his little ad is nothing compared to the productions done by Church of Scientology yearly. That's true. If they, Tony was wondering if he thought that they might be using this particular ad for the Super Bowl ad. And if they do, this video will get a lot more attention. And I think the release of this video is pretty much going to guarantee they don't choose it for the Super Bowl ad. But I did see on the web yesterday, I don't know if it was on Facebook or someplace, but somebody had put up an image in a stadium from the bleachers. You could see on the big Jumbotron one of those "I am a Scientologist" ads. It wasn't this particular one that we were spoofing. It could have just been a still image from all I can tell from the photo. But that's a campaign that they're mounting and spending a lot of money on. And having a satirical version of it, if they decide to roll this out on the Super Bowl and make it huge, I think this will get a lot more attention and do a lot more educating. So I don't know if any of you are interested in doing this, but I thought what we could do, we'd go through step by step, and we can go over to the site where I create a still image using Slappy's model. And I can ask you what you would like Slappy to be doing, wearing, what the location is, and we can create an image, and then we take it over to Kling and animate it, and then add the voice to it. I have a little voice track that I prepared for this if you're interested in doing this. If so, there's be like a night at the Improv with a 12-minute delay. But do you have any suggestions for what Slappy should be doing? Let's start it there and see if anyone's interested. The name of the software, Grandpa, Steph? Yes, that would be fun. I think I actually brought that up. Grandpa, what's the name of the software? It's not so much software as it our services online. So the creating a still image uses Flux, but to do it with a model, I do that over at a site called Replicate, and that's a little more tricky to explain because you've got to do a lot of technical stuff to prepare 10 different images of a particular person and train the model so that when you type the name in a prompt, it knows, okay, we're going to make a picture of Mark or Tori doing something. In this case, that's difficult to explain. Kling Eye, though, if you have an image you want to animate, you don't even have to have an image. You can, let me pull this up again here. Share screen. Kling. So let me pull this off to the side here. So Kling AI, it's a Chinese place. And I've looked at a lot of these sites. I had tried out another one that people were raving about. It couldn't come close to what Kling AI is doing. This is the new 1.6 model. And of course, they charge you more for the better models. And all of these sites now are charging you tokens. So you subscribe for a month and you get a certain amount of tokens. Once those tokens are gone, then you can buy more tokens until you get your next batch when the month rolls over. There was a big Black Friday sale, so I loaded down with a bunch of half-price tokens at that point. So I had plenty to do all the work that needed to go into this commercial, but I dropped down from like 3,000 to 795 at this point. But here you have the option to upload an image or you can do a prompt. You can do text to video, where you would type what you want to see, and it would just bring something to life to order. And sometimes it'll be good, sometimes it won't. I've seen some amazing things that people have done with text to video, but I specifically wanted to recreate the images from the ad. And I like using the image to video myself. And in this case, you type in a prompt. Here I just say a woman talks to the camera remains stationary as she talks. So if you have an idea, and let me come back so I can see. Oh, I gotta get back here. Here we go. Now I can see the screen again. So any suggestions? Have I missed anything here? I'd like to see them on an e-meter. What ideas do we have here? You'd like to see him on an e-meter for real. Okay. Send Davey to a psychiatrist. Something that pokes fun at his height, where everyone is taller than him and his insecurities start to show. Okay, we can incorporate that. And what did I just clicked off something. I don't know if Steph or Kelly had posted one that I accidentally throwing a temper tantrum with a rattler in his hand. All right. Well, let's do that, shall we? Sound good to you? Stomping. I like getting them mad. So I tell you what, I'm going to share the screen again. We'll take that prompt. I'm going to go back to, let's see. I need to change it here, right? New at this. Share screen and replicate. Okay. So I'm going to make that full screen so we can better see this. So I've got Slappy's model here, and we're going to, come on. Oh, I hope I can type on here. I guess I can't. I'm going to have to go over, you watch this. I'm going to go over to the site on my laptop here, and I'm going to type this in. Should show up for you. Create Okay, so let's see if what it comes up with here. So I'm going to push run, and I have it set up to make 4 images. I'm going to come back here into StreamYard, so I'm seeing what you're seeing. So this is doing its work here, and this is usually pretty quick, creating these images. It has a limit of 4 at a time. And this is actually a very reasonably inexpensive technology here online. This one, you can get it like, well, they made him a kid rather than just tiny. Oh, I have to go back here in order to see them all. Yeah, sometimes you have to be specific. Here I go. All right, now I should be able to scroll down these. So you got tiny little David. You never know what's going to happen here. So yeah, these are all keepers. I'm going to download these, and we're going to try it again. And we're going to specify where oops. Oh, I don't need to type that again. Let's just make them 4 foot tall. All right. And run. And I'm coming back here. Yeah, normally what I do, Witness is correct that the prompt is important. Normally what I would do is go into ChatGPT, and I'll put in that prompt. And then ChatGPT will do a good job expanding it and explaining. Oh, God, here we go. Explaining really what we want to see here. Let me go back and scroll through these. This happens where, you know, we say photorealistic, you say adult. It just doesn't want to do it. And that's why you have to keep working on this and doing it over and over and over. So I create a lot of images that just are unusable. I did a whole bunch of things for L. Ron Bunker. And I think I may have gone through 40 or 50 images trying to find one where I'm feeding a carnivorous plant. You know, similar to, you know, Hubbard in black and white playing with the tomatoes. I want one where I've got like an Audrey 2 from Little Shop of Horrors. Did I click download? Let's click it again. Let's see. Do you have any suggestions? There is not a 255 character setting on here. Let me bring up ChatGPT and see. Well, do I have it on here? Not sure. Well, I can go to the site. I'm not on one of my Macs where I have the app. I'm on this Windows laptop, so I'm not used to using this. I guess I should put Tell you what, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to take this off the screen as I sign in. All right, give me just a moment here. La da dee da 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 dee 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 dee. Ooh, hoo, hoo. All right. All right, I'm signed in here. Come back and I will share the screen again. So before I go and ask for a prompt, I'm going back to replicate, taking what I had typed in here, and I'm just going to copy and paste that. Or so I thought. There we go. I know this is fascinating, isn't it? Okay, let's see what they suggest. Oh, don't create the image. I hate this. Let me go to the prompt generator. Well, let's see what they come up with first. Oh, yeah, it's interesting. Not at all what we asked for, but I'm going to keep it. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, tantrum to shrink request. Talk among yourself. You lousy stinking. I like it. That's one old 65-year-old. So let me just try the prompt that I wrote. And let's go back. tickling and oh no, we got it. I'm sorry. We're going to replicate. Try those changes. Sure, there's a way to easily switch between the tabs on here. I'm just not seeing it. Well, okay, we're getting closer. Tell you what do you think? Should we go with this one? You come back here and see your responses. Trying to see what's closest here. Well, we have to see his mouth. So let's go with this one. Going to download that. Save image as Slappy Shrink. Coming back to StreamYard. And share screen with, come on, Cling. All right. I'm going to put the prompt in here as well, since the image doesn't tell the exact story. So let me upload the file. Where did I download it? Is it Documents, Desktop? You mean no Slappy? Oh, you suck. This was supposed to be so much fun. Oh, what do they call it? Alt 1? Well, maybe they just put it under a different name. So where did it go? Save image as. Oh, so it's Alt 1 on the desktop. Oh, I see it as Slappy Shrink right there. Let me go to the desktop. Looks like it went to a different desktop. That's odd. Yeah, it looks like it was downloaded to my home computer, even though I'm not on my home computer. Let me see if I can do this. If I was on my Mac, I would just copy the screen. I'm not sure how to do that here. So I haven't used Windows in so long. Is everyone gone? Okay. Well, I don't think that I'm getting it done. Let me see if I can find just an image online that we can use. Let's just go ahead and download this. Save image as. I hope you're saving it here onto this computer. No, it's going to Slappy Shrink. How could it possibly be going someplace on a different computer? Feels like Tori's here. Well, you know what? I think I think that probably this is not going to work. But next time I do a video, I'll have a good image and I'll at least show you what it was doing. And somebody's pointing out, yeah, we're an hour 42 here. So I have probably kept you way too long already. So if that's all right with you, we can wrap up. But do you have other questions or anything else you wanted to talk about? No one's complaining? Okay. Well, I tell you what, let me do this then. I'm going to head to my computer. I'm just going to download it there and email it to me. Oh, you're just seeing the browser screen? Oh, okay. Well, that's something for you to look at. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop sharing. And I've got here, you know, you're not going to listen to all of this, but I thought you might be interested in hearing just the. Oh, maybe I didn't load that. Thought I'd loaded a clip with. Let me see if I've got it downloaded here. Downloads. No, I don't have that. Well, just to keep you entertained with something here, I'm going to put on the Scientology ad again while I take a couple of minutes here to get that image and get it up and running. So enjoy this again.
In my day-to-day life, when people find out, people are like, wait, what? You're what?
When they find out, they're usually very surprised.
They go silent and then start slowly backing out of the room.
I hate it when they point and giggle. Wow. Come on, guys.
Really? It's just Scientology.
You know, Scientology, the world's fastest growing religion.
Wait, what's so funny about that?
Everybody I know is a Scientologist. Everybody at work. Everybody in my family. Well, that I still talk to.
I'm a Scientologist.
So am I.
10 years now.
46 years.
I have been my whole life, this life, and my past life.
I'm a past life clear.
6 lifetimes now.
42.
80.
120 lifetimes and counting.
1 billion years. And I still look good.
So, we've been around the galaxy a few times.
And that's nothing to laugh at.
So stop it.
I find people are just naturally curious about Scientology. I tell them, ask me anything.
Scientology is all about communication.
According to L. Ron Hubbard, communication is the universal solvent.
So, ask me anything.
Then they ask about Xenu.
We don't talk about Xenu.
We don't talk about Xenu.
And we don't talk about Xenu.
We don't talk about the intergalactic overlord who blew us up in a volcano 75 million years ago.
We don't talk about that.
Oh, right. Sorry. Forget I said that.
Listen, we can't talk about Xenu because, well, you're just not ready for it.
See, if you find out about it before you're ready, you could catch pneumonia and die.
That's why you need to get on the bridge to total freedom. Take some courses, pay enough money, and then we'll tell you about Xenu.
And oh, the journey you'll start. You'll begin an uninformed member of the masses who has no idea how pathetic they are. Oh, it's going to take a while.
And you'll need to keep your checkbook handy.
But get on the bridge, and you are on your way to becoming a powerful being.
You'll look at every negative moment of your life and clear away all the pain and confusion that's been holding you back. Then you've reached the state of clear, and we will all applaud you and give you a diploma.
Then it is on to clearing all your past lives.
I was a country doctor in Kentucky in the 1920s.
I was a respected member of the French aristocracy.
I was a knight of King Arthur's court and served with pride and distinction.
I was a clam on a beach, and a seagull picked me up and flew me away.
I was a majestic mariner sailing the seven seas.
The seagull dropped me onto some rocks, where I died, which is why I'm afraid of heights.
I was a samurai warrior protecting a village from marauders.
And if you take your finger and thumb and snap them together repeatedly, my jaw locks up.
I was Julius Caesar.
I was Julius Caesar.
And I was Julius Caesar.
I wish I had been Julius Caesar.
I once enslaved a planet. But don't mention that at the org.
I can control matter, energy, space, and time. The meshed universe.
Larry, give us a demonstration.
No.
Oh.
No.
Oh, but...
I don't want to show off.
Oh, but...
No.
I don't think he can do it.
What? Are you invalidating me?
No.
Susie, I'm writing a knowledge report on you.
What?
You're going to ethics.
What?
Ethics.
We're the most ethical people on the planet.
We get that from L. Ron Hubbard. He taught us to think for ourselves and exactly what to think.
Which is why he would not be happy about another Scientologist being invalidated.
Isn't that right, Susie? Susie?
Susie?
Has anyone seen Susie?
She's not here.
Oh, my God.
Susie Blue! Quick, we've got to hunt her down.
I know where her parents live.
I know all the wogs she's been talking to.
We've got to bring her back, people.
Think for yourself. Leave Scientology.
What are your crimes, Mark? Yes, what are your crimes, Mark? Your crimes are hidden, they should be seen. Spin all out, Mark, and just come clean.
All right. Well, I'm sure you're looking at me right now, and I'm downloading the image. I just sent it to me in an email. So you're watching me as I download it, and I'm going to upload it to Kling. So let me go back here and see what you're looking at. Okay. And Present screen cling. All right. So, should be my downloads. Sloppy shrink. Good. Oh, stop it. I hate you. Let's try it again. Well, it does seem to like the dropping and clicking, so I'm just going to do it this way. All right. So we're going to generate this. I don't know if we probably don't need, yeah, well, let's make it 10 seconds. What the heck? All right. It's telling us 8 minutes for this. So I hope you have time. And let me come back here. All right. So we'll stop that. And let me just take a look at all the comments that have been coming in that I've been missing. So Steph or forgive me, Kelly, if there are anything that you want to point out to me that I should be responding to, I'd be happy to do so. And I want to see if I've got on my computer here this other thing that I needed. Come on. Oh, there it is. Okay. Just want to make sure. I had a little audio clip. I was a little concerned that maybe I didn't have that on the computer. I've got it here. Okay. So I'm no longer distracted. Script and screenplay are well done. Thank you, Gerald. I appreciate that. FYT, love your creative effort, Mark. The ad is great and can't wait to see your future projects. I think we've got some fun stuff coming along. Witness has seen some really bad faked AI photos. Freaked you out. You don't go to Facebook anymore. There's plenty of things to freak you out on Facebook. You know, it's bad AI photos would be the last thing that you know what annoys me the most? I'll somehow be offered all of these videos in their feed. And I don't know if you've found yourself looking at any of these, but those are so fake. They want to keep you stringing along and watching something where they'll create a big dramatic scene of, oh, this relationship is falling apart or whatever. And you can tell from the second it starts, this is all staged. This is written. And I don't see that as much as I do on other sites as on Facebook. It's like, I don't want to see any of your videos. Don't show me any of your videos, please. And yet somehow they keep popping up and getting in my way. And then you will see one with a kitty or something. You go, okay, I'll take a look at that. And then right immediately after that are more of these damn annoying videos. Facebook is mostly ads. So, I was full of stories at the beginning. Wonder if there are other things that I can pull out of me. Things that I find fascinating that will probably bore you to tears. I was talking about Laurel and Hardy yesterday. Oh, Gerald's got something. Gerald Neal, the technology has advanced ahead of the use cases. Can you think of where this is going? What will main use case be for this? Well, the sky's the limit for it. Unfortunately, it's going to continue to replace human beings, probably even replace some of these cats at some point. But I'm sure that Hollywood workers are incredibly worried about this. I see people creating projects on their home computers now that can rival a studio project. Now, studios, we don't have access to major talent, but you can grow talent, and if you can have a situation where sets and costumes can be generated online, and you probably be able to do a performance in front of a video camera at some point and just say, okay, I need to be dressed like Indiana Jones, and you have to put a jungle behind me and light it nicely. And you could probably create an entire scene that way very soon. I mean, there's certainly uses of that already, where in the examples I've seen, you're wearing a costume, and you do have good lighting on you, and then they just drop you into a background, and it can work. So it's going to really disrupt the film and TV industry, and it already has. There are a lot of folks terribly worried about losing their jobs to that, and it's going to affect jobs in I think pretty much every field of work. I mean, you've got robots now who are doing amazing surgery, and I'm sure there will be a lot of people on the corporate side who say, well, yeah, but the AI knows how to do this. Why do we even have to have a doctor present? It's like with Elon Musk's Tesla cars now, where they're trying to make it so the government doesn't have to, you don't have to report any crashes of electric cars to the government. There will be corporations that say, oh, yeah, sure, some people will die, but think of the money we'll save if we have AI running robotic surgeries for us, and it'll be fine. Actors should be worried. Musicians, yeah, you're right. I'm amazed that I have been able to create songs like the theme song that what are your crimes, Mark? I think it's a really good song. It sounds like it's a live performance. I've got another one. I don't think I have it loaded here, but there's a song I created about L. Ron Bunker that has like a creepy vibe to it. And I took the same song and had like a country western type of twang to it, and it's a completely different feel. And if it's creating music that is actually listenable, that's kind of scary. I certainly have no taste. And what I found from writing the songs that I have written, I use Chat GPT to create some lyrics from a suggestion, and then those lyrics are nowhere near what I want them to be, but it's created the proper framework for it. So AI doesn't know that these people who are surrounding me on L. Ron Hubbard Way were saying, come on, spit them out, Mark. What are your crimes? So, I add all of that, but they create the basic structure of what are your crimes, Mark? And I asked it to create a list of silly crimes for me, and they were all just awful. So, but as a basic starting point for me to have a musical framework to create a song, that's a big thing. And I've noticed, though, that anytime I try to create a song, it's got the same structure. And I don't know, I have to pay more, but it's always the same rhythm. So, and it's not, it doesn't change it up with a different time range, time scheme. This conversation came up on other streams, but what actor would you want to play you if they made a movie revolving around Scientology up to the early 2000s? Well, first, they can de-age me. And that's what I'd want to have happen. I would like to play myself de-aged and skinified, because I look at photos and video of me from back then and I get very sad. But who I can't think of anybody offhand that I always wanted to see a movie about Bob. And I ran into somebody who I thought would be great for it outside Dave's The Laser Place, a store back in the good old days when laser discs were the state of the art. And it was in Studio City, and my friend Moriarty worked there. Drew McWeeny is a film writer and critic. And Drew is one of the best writers that I've ever read on movie and TV. And he's had a few things produced, and he's a good writer. I saw a play that he and his partner wrote around 2000 that was done as part of a Showtime staging of one-act plays. And it was brilliant. Now, Drew was a fan of like Star Wars and fantasy stuff like that. So I wasn't sure what I would have, what he would be producing. I'm just going to take a quick look here and see if we have any video that's been finished. Oh, yeah, we do. Okay, let me do this. It's not what we expect, but again, it's a surprise that I think you'll be delighted by. So let me share the screen. And I give to you come on. Oh, share. Give to you Slappy Hat laying an egg. Is he going to jump? No, he's decided he doesn't want to jump. He's just got something in him. Oh, my Lord, is it coming out yet? You got a lot of folks who are very concerned in the background watching all this. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. And you've got one guy right back here that looks a lot like him. And that's something that the AI does a lot. You'll find, like, I'll create an image with myself in it. And sometimes everybody in the shot is me with different outfits. And it's just amazing. So what I'm going to do, I don't know if it'll work because we're not seeing his lips the entire time here, but I'm going to upload this little audio clip and see if we can have him say what I had planned for him. Where is it? Here we go. I'm sorry, did not get uploaded. Let me go back here. I'll just click. Okay. All right. So we'll start adding the dialogue to it. Let's see if it's okay. There we go. Lip sync. All right. So it's working on that. And let me come back here to StreamYard. And let's come back to me. All right. So I was in the middle of a story. Oh, Drew McQueenie. He had a one-act play with he and his writing partner Scott. And I went to see this, and it was one of the best one-act plays I've ever seen. It was not long after the Rodney King trials, and it was all about a racist cop coming to have a Jewish attorney take his case as the city is burning around them. And it was really well-written, dramatic piece, just a character study. And Showtime optioned that, and we're turning it into a TV movie, but for Showtime. But they never actually got it done. But I have a copy of the script somewhere, and it's damn good. And he's been doing a lot of great writing. Anyway, he worked at Dave's the Laser Place, which is where I started this story. And one day you'd see a lot of celebrities there. Michael Jackson would have the store closed down so he could go and spend time in there and buy anything he wanted. But I bumped into a few actors there. One of them was Michael McKean. And this was before Better Call Saul, where we realized, oh my God, this guy's really a brilliant actor. He was always a solid actor, a good actor, but he was, Lenny and Squiggy. He was doing lighter fare. But I thought he would have made a great Bob Minton. And I mentioned it to him when I saw him, like some crazy person saying, hey, you know who should play? My friend Bob. Yeah, there'd been national press on Bob fighting Scientology, but, not like anyone was making a movie about him. And that's something you better keep your eye out for, the casting the part of Bob Minton. You'd be perfect. But especially after seeing him on Better Call Saul, he would have been ideal for that. And for me, I think, Spider-Man, who's this young guy that's just getting married to Zendaya now. I can't think of his name. He'd be perfect as me. I'd want him. Not Tobey Maguire. That's Spider-Man 1. Not the other guy. Tom Holland. That's who it is. Tom Holland. You book him right now. Call his agent. Tell him, listen, you got to keep your schedule open. You're playing Bunker, and it's going to be the role of a lifetime for you. And I will, if needed, I will be happy to consult. Tom Holland, yes, thank you. I just scrolled up and saw that you were ahead of me. And I don't know if somebody else put this up or I hit it by mistake. OT8, ability to be at cause knowingly and at will over thought, life, form, matter, energy, space, and time, and bowel movements. Subjective and objective. I like it. Thank you. I'm glad it got up there. That's FYT 54321. Thanks. Tom Holland looks too old to be Bunker. It's true. But again, de-aging. It's a new world we're living in. Dave is squatting in the video clip. He sure is. Unfortunately, it takes 8 minutes to do the video of the live action. It takes 12 minutes to add the sound to it. So I'm kind of watching it on the other screen here. As soon as it pops up, we can take a look at it. And that will be our joint activity for tonight. I just wanted to see this from Eric. Hello, Mark, and all. It was nice to meet you all last night. Love from Culver City, California, SoCal, LA area. Oh, yes, we were talking about this Hal Roach Studios and Sony Studios. I'm the one that has high functioning autism. Well, don't we all? I appreciate the fact that you appreciate Hal Roach and the studio system there. I had mentioned this movie about Laurel and Hardy in their later years, Stan and Ollie, which was so brilliant. And I specifically mentioned one scene where Stan was upset that Ollie made a film with somebody else while Stan was sitting out the contract. And I remembered his name today. It was Harry Langdon. Harry Langdon, I used to use him as the basis for college term papers whenever possible. If I had to write an essay about anything, Harry Langdon was a silent comic who was almost as big as Chaplin and Keaton in the 1920s for a couple of years. And he had this baby face. And, Stan Laurel was an innocent. Harry Langdon was pretty much a functioning baby in a suit. But the first few films he made, he was very good. And it was because Frank Capra, the great Frank Capra of It's a Wonderful Life and all these other Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, some of my favorite films of all time, he was writing and directing Harry Langdon in these movies. And Harry Langdon got full of himself and said, hey, Chaplin's writing his own films, directing his own films, so is Keaton. I'm going to do it myself. And so he got rid of Capra and started making his own movies, and they were horrible. He had no talent for that. And then, he pretty much lost everything. And he found himself working at Hal Roach in the late 30s when Ollie was there without Stan. And so Hal Roach kind of paired the two of them into this pretty lousy film called Zendopia and tried to make them a team, which did not work out. I know this is fascinating stuff for you if you're not Laurel and Hardy fans, but I love the history of movies and the personalities who were involved in it. One thing that I wish I could see, and I don't think any of these films were ever made, but Hal Roach decided that without Stan there, he was going to make some shorts that were based around the Hardy family. And Spanky McFarlane, Spanky of Our Gang, was going to be his kid. So there are some still photos of him and a wife. I forget who was playing the wife, and Spanky. But I don't think any of those films were ever produced during that year. So me and my stories. I talked about the fact that in high school I used to project films during lunch hour. And what we would do was rent 16 millimeter prints that I was in charge of everything, ordering them and picking them up and taking them back. They were on big film reels, there was no videotapes back then. And they were shipped through the mail. So I would go and pick up these films and ship them back every day. And it was fun. I was a big movie buff. I had a Super 8 sound projector. So as a kid, I was collecting all of the Laurel and Hardy films on Super 8 film. And then I bought a 16 millimeter projector myself, which was fairly rare. But there were a number of movie collectors around the world who would swap the films. So you're like, oh, I haven't seen that film. Would you accept a Mary Tyler Moore episode for that? Okay, sure. So I had a Mary Tyler Moore episode for a while. And I had some German movie that I got from somebody that was no dialogue, but it was about a killer. But it was all shot from the perspective of the killer. So it was all a single shot where you never really saw the person's face. And it was an interesting experiment. And there was actually a Hollywood producer who said, "Hey, do you think it would make a good remake?" And I said, "No, probably I was wrong. And if they had made it, it would have been gigantic, But he trusted the idea of some dopey young guy. I love Mary Tyler Moore. Let's see. Oh, where did we? Oh, I tried pushing that. JB808 thinks Edward Norton would do Bob Minton justice. I think so, probably. Yeah, he's a terrific actor. I saw him raving about the Bob Dylan film and the performance of what's his name? This Chalamet guy. Sick of him being so talented. I have not seen that yet. Nasty Nathaniel, Mark, we met at Aaron's campaign kickoff at his house in Clearwater. It was really groovy to chat with you about all things Scientology. Is the kickoff at his house? Oh, may have been. I'm thinking of another. I tend to think of the event that he had at like one of the breweries. There were a lot of people there for that. I remember that one. But yeah, I remember being in his backyard, and Aaron had a big fire pit. So everyone would gather around that and smoke cigars, which, my dad was a cigar smoker, and he would head into the bathroom and smoke the cigars in there. And so the towels would just reek of cigar smoke. It was like, oh God. So I have, that's an implant that I have to work on. I've got to get on the meter and get rid of that, because just smelling cigar smoke is disgusting to me. And I worked with a consumer reporter at a TV station in San Diego, KOSI. Guy's name is Turco, tough guy. Tell it to Turco was the segment where people would have problems with a local business or something, and tell it to Turco, and he'd go out there and kind of rough somebody up and try to get justice for them. And he liked going to cigar bars, and it was like, oh God. Well, here's a fine suggestion. Tom Cruise would be a good Mark Bunker. I guess I'd have to sign off on that. He's getting a little up there. You take a look at him recently? I'm not sure. I think he's dyeing his hair. There's something odd looking about the guy. And I like Tom Cruise. I'm one of the people who's always been a fan of Tom Cruise, no matter what I think about Scientology. I think he's a good actor. I've seen him do a lot of good stuff. And I tell you, when he was with Dustin Hoffman in Rain Man, I thought Dustin Hoffman was, pretty theatrical, pretty Wapner. Kind of watch Wapner. It was like kind of forced. Tom Cruise, I thought, was really nice and natural, and I thought it was a better performance. So all those folks who say I'd never watched Tom Cruise, well, you're missing out. These Mission Impossible films, especially the last, since episode 3, they're making it getting better and better, and I wouldn't miss out on any of those. And the science fiction film he made, Edge of Tomorrow, that is a brilliant movie. I love that. Turkle Files. Are you familiar with Turkle? Yeah, I worked with Turkle for quite some time. I was his assistant, and I would go out with him. And a lot of times he decided to send me out to do an interview with somebody. And we had a cameraman, and I would just be doing the questioning and then bring it back, and he would write it up and then front it. So it was fun doing that. John Hamm would be a great Mark Bunker. Oh my God. Love John Hamm. Sure. I can see it. I don't. John Hamm doesn't work nearly enough. I guess he's, he had a drinking problem that I think he's worked out, but I think he's brilliant. FYT 54321, hearing TC using his tone 40 on set crews as he bitches them out wasn't impressive at all. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I wouldn't not allow that on the film set where he's playing me. I'd put my foot down. I tell him, listen, these crew are your people. You gotta support them. And I can see right here that we have some progress with the clip. So let me pull up that clip, and let's see if we can watch that. So present. Come on. Share screen. Cling. All right. Let's see what we have here. So here we go. Come on. Come on. Oh, I got it. Oh.
And I wanted.
Okay. Start it over.
I'm David Miscavige of the Scientology racket, and I wanted to. Wait a minute. You did this to the hole.
Oh, man. Okay. Cancel. I think that worked. I like that. Let's see if I can play it from here. No, I want to watch it again.
I'm David Miscavige of the Scientology racket, and I wanted to. Wait a minute. What the hell? What? You did this to the hole.
Look what you did. Look at you folks. You created magic. And who would have thought that piece of dialogue that I just randomly recorded before coming on air like this would work so perfectly with the clip that you created. So once again, let's see if we can go full screen. And let me go back here and play it. I got to start playing it from the other side.
I'm David Miscavige of the Scientology racket, and I wanted to. Wait a minute. What the hell? What? You did this to the hole.
Well, I think, we can't do better than that. I think we ought to call it a night. I'll put the clip up separately as well. This seems like it would be my first fine short for YouTube. Let me come back here. Boom. All right. Well, this was a lot of fun, and I hope I didn't bore you to tears with movie talk and flashing back to my life. But I had a great time, and that was the best way to go out. So I want to thank you all for coming here. Tell your friends, please. Anyone who wants to become a member, let people know to come and join. Subscribe to my channel, share, like. All of those things. And I just have to thank Steph the writer and Kelly for helping out again tonight and doing such a great job. The Many Lives of Mark Bunker. There you go. It was a great night, and I hope you have enjoy the rest of the evening, or you go to bed and go to sleep, because it's getting late here. And I'll see you again. I'll try to do something again tomorrow night and get Magoo in on it. Okay. I like to do it around 10 at night, Eastern time, because I think a lot of the other folks are probably done with their stories. So I'll be shooting for that. Debbie, amazing work. Haven't laughed this much in a long time. Well, thank you. I'm glad it was worth the wait. I had a great time myself. Everybody, let's call it a wrap, and I will see you again soon. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. This is Xenu TV.